Slushie!
Why are you sad? Are you okay? You can tell us, Slushie!
What happened to your right cheek? And your tail? I'm sorry that all of you have to hear this. I had gone to a con. Oh dear.
Slushie looked down on her phone and sighed. 8 usernames listed on her notes app from people she met at various panels. 8 usernames too many. Coming into the convention center, she promised herself that she wouldn't make too many friends. The terrors of having to deal with mental trauma, let alone from people she got to know for less than a few months, sounded like pure agony. The Blue Fox was always a very friendly person, willing to show confidence to just about anyone it needed. Or something simple as a high five, when he had flair for a fandom he recognized. And that was her biggest problem. Her overstatic nature could gas on her tail until it rips one of these days. She's already worried enough about her dear friend's habit of quick love. Even if this old P guy was nice to her, what if he gets taken advantage of again? Or he gets unhealthy? If only Milkshake were here and not sick in bed with a flu, coughing non-stop over the phone was enough to tell Slushie that it's best to go alone. But, good God, it doesn't feel the same. Nevertheless, she named her file and closed the application, declining against adding to the list for the time being. She wasn't positive that she'd speak to them very much anyway.
Hi. Are you saving this seat?
Slushie yelped from the sudden greeting and tilted her head up to see someone twice her size towering her frame. A leopard, endowed with a black and beige coat. No unique cosplay was present. Only a single VIP pass hung around her neck. And a statue.
What? Oh! No. You can sit here if you want.
The woman's eyes excitedly shot open.
Ah, goody. Sorry to bother you. All the tables are taken, and these nachos were hotter than I expected. Are you new here?
Not at all, actually. I show up here every year. It's an annual thing for me, really.
The last thing Slushie wanted was another person trying to befriend her. But then again, she could always decline. The woman seemed nice enough, at least.
What about you?
I'm basically just a nomad here. I wander and chat and get out. My name's Porten.
Whoa! That was quick.
The fox gently smiled, a tad surprised at the direct hit. There was enough to make her sweat, a little from her brow.
Call me Slushie.
Slushie pondered. Maybe she was worrying too soon. At least she gets a chat buddy before she walks back to the venue for more stuff. And she can always DM the people she met earlier, just to see if they're up to anything new. What screw-up could she cause, aside from a rare, awkward moment of silence? The two jabber about their favorite things to do, what animes that they watch, and what musicians they are a fan of. It honestly felt like another milkshake was sitting right in front of her. Not ill. But of course, all good interaction must come to their close as the fox waved goodbye and went to skim for the convention venue. But Porten just sat back, body as stiff as a piece of driftwood. How odd it was that he had nothing to say, no actions to give, not even a blink, until Slushie had left her sight. The coated leopard's nails tapped, then dragged across the room around the table with a weird anoscopy bolting through her senses, an obsessive anoscopy that she had never felt before, one that required her to get through an easy, soft layer before the eventual plundering. Porten's constricted eyes darted around the packed room for a place for her color, and her heart drummed when she realized she didn't have to strip down to make this work. Slushie stepped out of her hotel room with a brand new bow and some lovely promotional pins, garbing her magical girl-esque dress. She twirled in excitement, hopping and eventually bumping her head on the ceiling. Just thinking about how fun the rave might be made her giddy. The hollers, the flashes, it all sounded glorious. Thankfully, the day was still young, and she had plenty of time to get to her spot, skipping like she just found the best tulip field in the world. Her bright eyes scanned the enormous hall. Well, would you look at that? A photo shoot full of enemy swordmen on her left, a theater room showcasing a movie marathon on her right, a pair of eyes popping out of the wall. Wait. She paused her skip and squinted at the phenomenon glaring at her from within the rocky material. Rubbing her own, they seemed to disappear. The fox couldn't have known why she'd be experiencing this. Was it because she overslept? Underslept? She didn't feel either of their respective effects. So perhaps it would be best to continue with her day, right? Though she didn't spot them. The eyes changed positions as she walked, from one wall to the other, left to right, either up to the leg of an average person, or near the floors. This was no hallucination, like she kept putting the north in her head to be. After 11 straight minutes of walking, Slushie made it to the end of the convention hall, adorned with a sprouting fountain, a line to a rave party, and yet another photo shoot. She sighed at the pretty sight, almost forgetting about the anomaly from earlier. She turned around to take a gander at how far away she was from the beginning of the walk. The walls moved on her right. She jumped, shaking her head to ensure that what she saw was just her mind playing with her. Until the walls shifted once more, the shapes of whatever had been enveloped to the barriers shuffled in a clustered mess. It gave her the idea of someone being trapped inside, with enough strength and air to not fall in their wake. How in the world was no one in the line spotting this? With a sudden shriek, Slushie backed away, accidentally bumping into a heavy-set beaver managing to line the crowd, a con worker with a dreaded, stereotypical neckbeard that one would poke fun at online. Surprisingly enough, full conventions are known for having some pretty eccentric, otherwise poorly mannered people here and there. He was quite sincere.
Hey, buddy, you feeling alright?
He asked, with genuine concern.
Good thing I caught you. You could have busted your head open there.
Some of the line goers were annoyed by this, assuming that she was trying to cut.
I'm sorry, it's just...
Nothing. The shapes have disappeared without a trace, leaving behind a flat, bumpy material. It literally had it in its place. Perhaps Slushie didn't rest as easy as she thought she did. But she didn't want to show that. She thought, is she going to squander a week off of work that she granted to herself? Or is she going to have fun? If not for her, for her sick friend. Turning to the man and gently shaking his hand, she sputtered her words in a vain attempt to apologize.
Sorry, it's nothing. I mean, thank you for... I'll get in the back.
The wait was lengthy, and her nervousness was off the charts from our encounter. But after a hot minute of sitting down at the end of the queue, Slushie managed to get one lucky spot in the concert room. Almost instantly. He perked up, like the numerous times Milkshake came over for a visit. Despite this, the young adult Reynald couldn't help but tell herself, if only he were here. He took another couple of seconds to reflect upon that thought. How many times has she told herself that? Should she stop?
What a blast the rave party was getting to be! Slushie danced like there was no tomorrow, the lights from the ceiling flashing directly into her face. But she didn't mind it one bit. These were absolutely rare for her to make it into. And he wasn't going to waste an opportunity like this anytime sooner. It wasn't just the music that brought a smile to her face, though. It was the comfort of knowing that she could at least come home and talk about this experience with her friends. The joy of getting the chance to see her favorite artist in the venue later with enough patience, everything was going just as she wanted it to. Yes, everything. Telling herself that this was the way to go. Before her tail felt some unfamiliar touches. The feeling made her squeak and squeeze. It close to her in mild discomfort. Trying to ignore it did nothing to help her psyche. As the touches came back in constant motion, wherever she wasn't paying attention to herself. Light strokes at first, then scratches, then tugs, garnished with something stepping on her foot. It could have just been someone in the crowd not being as careful as they were supposed to. But then again, the contact drove her mad enough to consistently dart her sight around the room, just to find the culprit. All she wanted to do was tell them to stop, so she can go back to what she was trying to do intentionally. Then, gentle pats. The type a dog would get for completing a command. Sent shivers up her spine. So she gonna take it, spinning around almost instantly. She opened her mouth, about to scold whoever was there behind her, only to pause. A group of foxwomen, much like her in her realm of fandom knowledge, wanted a photo with her. Seems like that obscure magical girl show she was interested in really took off fast. Slushie posed, forcing a smile from the sudden cold temperatures that blew against her tail. Or what was left of it. She gripped her own tail to position it better for the photo, and the realization of what was coursing over her fingertips made her heart sink. Naked skin. Only a single ounce of hair poking from the tip of her rear. She couldn't breathe at that moment. The lights felt blinding to her, and all she could do was feel her appendage all over in a desperate hope that she would still be in bed right now. Shutting her eyes and pinching herself certainly didn't work. The vision of all the things that could have possibly happened out of her view only made her rummage for the crowd and burst open the exit, running for her life. Crouched up in a woman's restroom, unable to know who did it and who wanted her this badly, yanking on her ears in distress, with no way of calming herself. Slushie's tears were enough to flood the stall and drown her. Just like that, all of the fur she had been maintaining over the past several months was reduced to stands on the cold ground, still in that damned rave area for anyone to pick up as they pause. But she didn't take that into consideration before her head went on autopilot and made her race out. Attempting to stand up led to no avail. From the anxious meltdown she was having, and the fear of having to go back out there and expose herself. So she balled up, and pounded against the side of the stall, accidentally attracting the attention of someone nearby. Someone she remembered meeting earlier today. The stall cracked open.
Hi again.
Porten waved down at her from above, with her statue unclipped, but still semi-closed, unnaturally decayed from the embarrassment that Slushie had just endured, but for some reason shuddering some. Her happy demeanor instantly fade.
You don't look so good.
Do you really think I want anyone to speak to me, let alone see me right now?
Look, I know you just met me and all, but I can assure you I got good intentions. You can tell me anything and I won't judge you for it. Trust me.
Get out. I'm scared. I'm not feeling very trusting today.
Slushie.
Porten cooed in a sing-song tone.
Come on.
The defenseless fox now had an annoyance thrown into the mix of emotions he didn't want. Forcefully grabbing her tail, he held it in front of her face, in a position that looked like she was about to wing it out. Slightly twisting, she raised her voice through grinding teeth.
This, I'm careless! I didn't care enough! And this happened! Is this what you wanted to hear?
Porten shakily sighed, positioning her pouch next to her hip.
Do you know who did it?
How should I know? I couldn't barely see in there, and I couldn't defend myself because I didn't know where they were fucking going!
Slushie clutches her phone in a tight, anger grip before chucking it into the floor and leaving a nasty crack in its corner. She felt ashamed. Not once in her life did she swear, and she didn't bother speaking like that to anyone. She had lost all of her will to care about fact. Her life was in danger, and there was nothing she could do. Silence present. Porten, her own heart bursting out of her chest. Gulp. Providing a suggestion.
Why don't I take you to my room? You can crash there for the night. I can tell you need a safe space, and this isn't where you should be right now.
So she stopped sobbing and slowly lifted her head up. Her fears aching closer. She didn't understand why she asked this. When Porten could easily just take her back to her hotel room. Then again, wouldn't that also mean she find out where she's dwelling for the time being? There didn't seem to be many safe options. Porten continued.
Take deep breaths, honey. You can make it through this. Hey, if it makes you feel any better, I bought a fondue machine, some extra blankets. We can even spend the night together even.
The leopard was caught off by her fox friend, trying to shove herself out of the way. She bickered. She resisted. She just wanted to be alone. But for some reason, this so-called protector of hers was blocking her way out. Soon after, the bickers turned into yells that were instantly shushed by Porten's clawed finger. So much struggling rang out in the stall, only for Slushie to pause when he saw the Verity right in front of her. The truth was facing her head on, as if it weren't a big deal in a statue, nonetheless. An open statue, with blue clumps of fur inside it. Slushie shuddered, mouth trembling as the leopard woman stood there, twiddling her claws, trying to form a cohesive excuse for what her prey had just discovered, only to be shut down by the fox, screaming at her face.
I knew it. I knew it! I fucking knew I couldn't trust you! You!
Her screams were met with a barren smile forming upon Porten's mug, and carnivorous, white drool flowing out of her mouth in a waterfall. Her fingers twitched by their sides, and she dropped the statue from her shriven limb. Slowly approaching her, her veiny paws lifted up into her point of view, getting ready for dinner.
Stop making that face at me! What are you doing? Oh God, help! Somebody help!
Her vulnerable, swaying body was pinned against the toilet, one giant hand clutching her mouth, and the other furiously tearing away at the finely tint fabrics of her costume. The choice of calling for help was forcefully stripped away. All that Slushie could do was whimper, groan, and struggle. This was it. This was really how she was going to die, at the hands of someone she didn't even know very well, nor hurt. She didn't even know what to do in a deadly situation anymore. She had no one else in her mind right now but her own, which begged two choices in her rapidly racing mind. Should she sit here and take it, knowing that the lust-driven monster has her right where he wants her? Or should she at least try to do something? Slushie's heart sank once the hungry leopard pushed her face against hers, leaving behind one last answer she didn't even consider asking for.
I like the tail trimmed.
The smell of Porten's revolting, reeking breath loomed over her face. The vision of her prey slowly fade and tightly shut into the sight of black, preparing for the worst. Metal pounded against Porten's unprotected skull, and her untrimmed nails let go of Slushie's face, its appendage fallen idle against the floor, leaving behind deep crimson markings within the skin of what it was gripping. Slushie's sight came back into view, and she rapidly patted herself down. Aside from her face, there were no open wounds, nothing exposed, nothing else to scream over. Looking above her, she saw him, next to the lone fire extinguisher on the floor. A familiar, heavy-set beaver, pushing the unconscious body off of her predator, and whipping out the transceiver from his hostel.
This is me. I had to defuse the situation in the women's room. I'll explain why I was there later. Just come over here to the very end of East Hall A, with her strings before she wakes up. I don't want us to have blood in our hands. Over.
Letting go of the button on his radio, the beaver pulls out his water bottle, wedged into his pocket, and offers it.
Hey, need water?
The fox said nothing.
I didn't drink from it, if that's your concern.
Mint chuckled, trying to bring at least some light into what just happened. But Slushie just sat there, taking heavy breaths for the near-death experience. He didn't know if this was a new trauma response, or if she just had nothing to say. But either way, she couldn't bother saying anything. There would be no use in it. Whilst waiting for the paramedics to arrive, Mint crouched next to Slushie, patted her on the shoulder.
You're very brave having to put up with that, you know?
Nothing again, followed by a sigh from the con worker, after getting a response from his transceiver.
We're underway. We're gonna patch you up, do a body search on that piece of shit, and she'll be out of your hair for good. I promise you. You're gonna be just fine.
Slushie paused on his water bottle before taking a few careful sips so as to not spill any on her chest. Just then, her mouth quivered a little, and she flattered up a word.
Take
What do you want?
me back to my room when this is all over. Please. I'm so tired.
Mint was hesitating at first, but after the life of an innocent was put under such jeopardy, he couldn't help but share a hug.
Don't worry. You can count on me.
A day has passed. Slushie stood in front of the clothing venue, twiddling her thumbs in a languid state. What she had gazed upon made her run her fingers over the patch of wound on her right cheek. Her tail, now garnished in a soft fabric cover, somehow felt chills. The dealer raised an eyebrow. A spotted coat held up to Slushie's view. Are you going to buy something? Her head, barely motivated enough to move, shook in disapproval before she turned around and made her way to the nearest food court, seating herself and having her favorite, a sub sandwich with mayo and salami. But even then, that wasn't enough to quell the agitation of what may come next, or the aberrations left in her soul, for that matter. Thank Christ above that she was bed-struggling.
There. I'm done. Please don't make me talk about this ever again.
Oh my god! I can't believe Porten would do all of this to you.
We're very sorry about what happened.
I wish we could have been there for you when that happened.
You said it, Chee.
By the name of Astaroth, if I ever see that bit, my line of sight!
I'll wreck that fucking place of mine! And I'll ruin it utterly unrecognizable to
Hey, Slush! Just be glad that he won't hurt you anymore. That was all in the past. And now you're safe in the arms of us, your friends.
Thanks, guys. I'm glad I have friends like all of you that look out for me. Do you think Milkshake would say the same?
Yeah. And hey, no matter what chaotic adventures we go through, we'll always be there for each other. Especially you, Slushie.
Hey, how about we all watch a show together? That will get her mind off of the vile freak.
Sounds like a good idea, Cofi.
Well, what a sweet and wholesome way to end it, eh? And that will conclude Convulture. It's review time. This story, man! This story is very enjoyable with a side of relatable. To have a story centered around Slushie is very enjoyable. And for a chicken nugget creepypasta, it's so goddamn amazing! If you have been to a convention by yourself before, you know how it feels to be in Slushie's shoes. Well, in this case, leggings. I wouldn't know because I never experienced it before, but I'm sure others will though. And as for the villain, my holy god of terrifying Christ! Porten is very creepy and also a disgusting villain. It's just a freaking lineup.
I like the tail trimmed.
It's so gross. Oh my god. Oh. But no seriousness though, Porten is a great villain in this story. Very good, very good. And I think that should be it. Review done. Rating would be a 9 out of 10. You know the drill by now. My opinion, we have many others. Do you like or hate this story? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, see you next narration.